Have you ever tried to draw someone and it looked nothing like them? By the end of this video, that'll never happen to you again. This is the easiest way to draw a face. In this series, I'm going to take you through every known way to approach drawing faces. And what you're going to find is that the easiest way for me to draw a face is not the easiest way for you to draw a face. In fact, everybody should approach it differently. Today, I'm going to show you an old school method used by some of the greatest artists in history. It's called the Bargue method. Think of the Bargue method like the steel beams that hold up skyscrapers. We may not see them or appreciate them, but without them, nothing gets built. The goal of the Bargue method is not creativity. The goal is accuracy. The original Charles Bargue book is online for free. I've linked it in the description so you can follow along with the exact reference that I'm using. Step 1 is going to be putting the reference down right next to the paper that I'm going to be drawing on. Today I've just taped it down to make sure it doesn't move. I'm using a mechanical pencil today because the fine tip allows me to be very accurate, and that's important for this method. Step 1, establish the first truth. I'm not starting with the eye or the shape of the head. I start with one straight line. Usually it'll be the horizontal line that indicates where the eyebrows are, or it'll be the vertical line directly down the center of the face. Today I'm going to start with the vertical line. This is my anchor. Now I'm going to compare it directly to the plate. Is it leaning left or right? Is it the right length? And I just keep adjusting it until it's perfect. Nothing else goes down until I know that this first line is right. Step 2 is building the outline of the head. I mark out the top and the bottom, and once I've done that, I have to figure out the width. The way I'll do that is kind of measure with my pencil, double check that both sides are correct. This is where it gets interesting. Now I'm looking for negative shapes. This is literally the key to drawing. Once I figured this out, my progress went nuts. Think about it this way, we're not just drawing the head, we're drawing the shapes outside of the head. Now suddenly you have two references, not just one. In practice, it looks like this. I draw this box around my reference, I find a negative shape, we'll use this one on the outside, and I copy that shape onto my paper. So I've got this first negative shape down on the paper. And now we continue, this one. This line intersects at the top halfway. This is where the top of the ear is. And this second negative shape is about a quarter ways up. So I'll split that in half and then split it again. And there's the second negative shape. Now we go back and we compare this shape that we've created versus our reference image. It looks pretty similar. And then you just kind of continue in this fashion. We can now measure out the actual lines versus the Bargue plate. If I were to measure the width of this plate with my pencil, I would put the pencil down, the tip at the very end of the measurement, and then I would place my index and thumb so that the length of the pencil is the correct measurement. We'll measure out the first one at the top of the head, bam, right on the money. The second one curving down, perfect. The third one, rock and roll. Just so my fingers don't get in the way for you guys, I'm just going to use one of these. It's a scale divider. So that's our first line, perfect. Our second line is a little bit shorter. Now let's measure the third line, the fourth line, and the fifth line. Great, we can move on. What's awesome about drawing this way is that for a moment you can forget that you're drawing a face. And that is really what this method is about. Because what you think is in front of you is a complex human face with emotions, but what's actually in front of you is just some simple shapes and lines. Now we continue drawing this way until we have an outline of our image. Another key is doing it without curved lines. Curved lines are something we add during the finishing stages of our sketch. That's because curved lines can't tell you about the orientation of an object. They can if they're rendered, but you have to think about your sketch like a map. It's guiding you somewhere. And you have to use clear indications for yourself so that you are guided to the correct place. If you're using curved lines, it may not be your intention at first, but they might lead you somewhere else. And by the way, during this process, I'm constantly flipping my eyes between the plate and my drawing, the plate and my drawing. And I try not to move my head too much, I'm just using my eyes here. And I probably look insane, but that's part of it. That's how you check. Just stay very still and be analytical, and just check each one of your angles and make sure that it's perfect. On to step 3, which is completing the inside of our sketch. And for this step, I find a point here and I'm looking for this distance from the top. Where's my scale divider? I'm looking for this distance from the top, make a mark, and this distance from the side, make another mark. Okay, that's basically it. And then we find the angle of that line by using other references. In this case, our top line, it's about a quarter way through. So this is the halfway point, this is the quarter way point, and we draw that line. Easy peasy. That's the basic technique. Now we can go ahead and draw everything that's on the inside of our shape. This style of drawing is super tedious and unforgiving, but It's really worth it because it seriously develops your ability to be analytical with your references. All of these extra lines and intersections act like a map for us. It's like the grid method, but customized exactly for the drawing that we're making. Now, step 4. We finished our sketch, time to check the alignments. Does the corner of the eye align with the nostril in the same way? Does the corner of the mouth lead me to the center of the eyeball? Are both eyes actually horizontal? It helps if you take a step back. Is the nose too long or too short? You can stop here if you like. I mean, you've learned everything you could from this sketch, so you can definitely move on. Or if you want to learn how to make your images look like the Charles Bargue plates do, you can swap out your current image with a rendered one, lighten up your image, and keep working away. By the way, this is a kneaded eraser. It lightens your image without erasing it. On to step 5, rendering the image. To render the image, we're gonna work from dark to light. Holding my pencil at a severe angle allows for the pencil marks to flow together seamlessly. For the midtones, I'm covering the rest of the image in a general gray tone by pressing the pencil into the page very lightly. I refine my shadows before going back with an eraser and revealing the highlights to finish up the drawing. Okay, let's call that done. The Bargue method is super slow, it's frustrating, and it's humbling. But after enough repetitions of this style of drafting, something happens to you. Your hands start to draw what you actually see. That's when faces from imagination actually start working. But you have to do the reps first. If you want to learn accuracy, you kind of have to put your expression on hold. But I think the Bargue method gets a bad rap. I mean, there's a lot of people that freaking hate it. The Bargue method to me is about building a mental library of correct proportions. So later on when you draw from imagination, your brain already knows what right looks like. The reality is that there's many ways to approach drawing a face. And sometimes, yeah, this is the best approach to drawing a face. For example, if you're trying to capture a likeness, 100% this is the best way to do it. But there are a bunch of different ways to approach drawing faces, and I'm gonna teach you every single one of them. And the reality is most artists use an amalgamation of all of these techniques to create their own unique way of approaching their art. If I've done my job correctly after you've seen these videos, you're gonna have your very own way of drawing. Because no matter what I say, there's no right way of doing this. Maybe after learning all the techniques, you're gonna create your very own that's gonna be taught in art schools all over the world. I don't know, stranger things have happened. I mean, it happened to Charles Bargue. Before him, people were painting, people were drawing, but then he came along and changed the curriculum. Since then, this is what you learn in art school. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me some feedback below because this is my first video and I want to know whether you liked it or if you freaking hated it and I should never do another one. Anyway, thank you so much. Go do some art.